If you've ever felt like you're running on low battery, your brain is performing at 60%, and you're going through the day in school and life with a ton of brain fog, or you just want to take your brain sharpness to the even next level, I'm here to tell you that the secret to turbocharging your brain power is as simple as changing your diet. I'll share with you all the things that your brain needs to perform well and stay healthy for a long time, as well as all the best foods containing those things. And at the end, I'll share with you all the recipes and ideas to easily incorporate all of those foods into your busy high school life. Now let's get into it. So our brains are mainly made up of fats, proteins, and a bit of glucose. So here's my rundown of how to maintain those important things that matter. So first off, omega-3 and 6 fatty acids, which you've probably heard are really good for your brain, are basically your brain's bodyguards. They build these healthy cell membranes that block out all of the bad stuff from getting into your brain. The best sources of these are fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, or sea bass. And also some other good sources are nuts and seeds. Antioxidants, which include vitamin C, E, and A, are the brain's defense against free radicals, which are basically unstable atoms that wreak havoc and do damage to our brain every single day. Basically, all of the healthy plant-based food will have a ton of antioxidants, especially berries, green leafy vegetables, carrots, broccoli, and even cocoa. Other things like the B vitamins and different minerals like iron, calcium, salt play crucial roles in the repairing and development of our brain. And these can be found in meats, fish, eggs, and also some of the plant foods we've mentioned already. And finally, our brains need proteins and amino acids, which make up a decent part of the brain itself. And obviously, you probably know meat has a ton of great protein. I'd recommend not eating too much red meat, but generally speaking, meat is good. And fish and eggs and nuts also have pretty good protein counts. So those are some of the foods that will boost our brain condition and keep it pristine both now and long term. But food also has a huge impact on your short-term energy and brain sharpness levels. Carbs are most people's biggest calorie source, but if you want to be sharp throughout the day, it's important to get the right kind of carbs. Refined carbs are absolute energy zappers immediately after eating them. Have you ever felt sleepy after eating a big pasta dinner or having a big meal with a ton of rice? That's one of the main reasons. Our carbs are split into mainly 3 different kinds. There's starches, there's sugars, and there is fiber. So refined carbs are lacking a lot of the fiber that is in whole grains and complex carbs. So when you eat a refined carb, you're having a immediately huge spike in your blood glucose, followed by a big crash, which will drain your energy a lot more because you're going to be having a crash in your blood glucose as well as digesting the food. Basically, if you have some important thing that you need to do with your brain right after eating a meal, avoid processed carbs. Go for whole grains that have high fiber so that they release the glucose a lot slower, and try and avoid the super sugary foods or even fast foods that have a ton of bad fats and little to no fiber to help you digest that, because that will digest very, very slowly. So now here's a list of the top brain boosting foods. We have avocados, which have a ton of good fats. We have berries, which have a ton of antioxidants and also anti-inflammatory effects, and especially blueberries or blackberries, but just any berries are great. Olive oil has a ton of polyphenols and antioxidants. Eggs are absolutely amazing. They have a ton of protein, and they're one of the best sources of choline, which is something that reduces inflammation and helps your brain function better. Green vegetables like kale, spinach, broccoli, like I said earlier, salmon, and also just other wild fatty fish, but especially wild salmon because it's one of the best sources, and honestly, I think it just tastes amazing. Has a ton of omega acids, which will protect your brain's barriers. Nuts are also amazing, especially walnuts, and they're just super easy to get in your diet, and they're super good for your brain. Finally, on this list, we even have dark chocolate, which is delicious and has a ton of antioxidants, as well as helping your blood flow to the brain. So one of the best breakfasts that I eat almost every day is Greek yogurt topped with like berries, nuts, and seeds, and even sometimes a little bit of cocoa powder, and usually sweetened with some honey. It has a ton of proteins and gets in a ton of those amazing foods I mentioned before. You should also follow a tip, which is to try and get at least like 2 or 3 plants or vegetables in with every meal. They're not really that hard. Like if you're eating even a burger, you can add on like lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers or pickles. One of my favorite tricks is the Chinese style stir fry with eggs, olive oil, and veggies. It tastes delicious, and it has 3 absolutely amazing foods for you. And for fish, honestly, it's not super hard to get in if you can get good fish. You can just pan fry them or grill them. And another trick, you can get salmon burgers from stores, which are really easy to just cook up and eat. My biggest tip for easily getting in a ton of plants is smoothies. Smoothies are king. They're your best friends if you're trying to cram in fruits and veggies. You can just use some frozen berry mix, like with blueberries and strawberries and mango maybe, and then throw in some chia seeds and a banana and or honey for the sweetness. And the smoothie makes a super delicious either breakfast or accompaniment for like any meal. And another tip is if you're trying to get calories in, smoothies are another easy way to do that if you just use milk. And if you're trying to avoid calories, just use water instead. And my final tip that can get in a ton of those good things from the list mentioned before is having snacks of nuts, fruits, and chocolate. And obviously you don't have to have like make yourself a snack plate, but just like when you think of, oh, I want a snack, instead of reaching to like potato chips, grab like nuts or fruit or chocolate or all together. And you can either even do like fruit with nut butter, which is a delicious combo. Having chocolate on this list doesn't mean you should just reach for like any chocolate. Try and get like high quality dark chocolate that is low in sugar and low in like heavy metals. And don't get over stressed out about getting like the perfect diet in every day all of a sudden. You can just try and make slight improvements towards the things and foods that I listed today. Even my diet is not close to perfect. And as long as you're trying to make adjustments, you'll eventually get to a place where you're happy. Thank you.